fear this new challenge. Rather, like a true warrior, I will rise to meet it. I am Vegeta! I have no limits!
Go for it nonstop.
Hey, what's up, Deep Prof Nation?
Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today, part 4 of the What Would I Change About Dokkan Battle series. So we've talked about stones and summons, that was part 1. We talked about the grind of the game and how it could be made better, that was part 2. And we talked about the gap between JP and Global. And what was originally going to be 2 separate videos is what's going to be this one. We're going to talk about friend points in general, and we're also going to talk about kind of like the lazy fix method that Bandai kind of band-aids over everything and how it doesn't really work out for the players. So let's get right into it. So I don't know about you guys, but I personally hate friend summons. I get that there's like 3 free-to-play LRs on there, but I think that there's a better way to utilize and a better way to gain friend points in general. So that's what a lot of this is going to be about. I think that friend point summons should go away, and what we should have instead is a friend point shop. Okay, so you can use your friend points in this shop that might be even located in the Baba shop in general to do things like purchase copies of those LRs, purchase Hercule statues, purchase summoning tickets for specific banners, stuff like that. I think that if we were to utilize this shop properly or have Bandai make it properly, we could do a lot more with friend points and it would be a lot more rewarding. I'm not saying that I want to completely change the game's economy and move completely away from the trade point system and stuff like that and move just to friend points. The trade point shop is fine. I think that doing that the way that it is perfectly fine. Just keep doing it that way. No one's gonna really no one minds the way that it is right now as far as I'm aware. But there are some things that are a little inconsistent when it comes to friend points. We don't know if we get friend points when somebody takes one of our units out as their friend as well. And I think that that's something that needs to change. I think that if it's something that's happening, we should be receiving friend points in the gift box and it should say, for going with X person on a quest, for going with X person on an Extreme Z battle, for going with X person on this. And then we need to bump up the amount of friend points we're getting anyway, because 100 or 50 per run isn't a whole lot. I think that even if we were to do like 5,000 friend points for a SR copy of one of these free-to-play LRs, but you were getting something like 250 for going on a quest with a friend, I think that would be fine. I think a lot of people would be more than alright with that. And if you disagree or if you think that that's cool, go ahead and let me know in the comment section. What this moves right into is the lazy fix method that Bandai or Akatsuki or whoever is responsible for keeping the game up to date applies to pretty much everything. If you go check out JCV Goku, okay? He's been doing this series called the Forgotten Units. That's because these units were like super early units in the game. They are incredibly irrelevant in the current meta of the game, but they can still show up when you do a summon on something like, you know, a Dokkan Fest banner or something else. And I think that that's nonsense. I don't think that anybody wants to see that Tech Super Saiyan Vegeta show up as their guaranteed SSR ever, okay? And his rebirth is not great because it was one of the first ones that happened, but that's what I'm talking about, okay? Instead of Bandai or Akatsuki, like I said, whoever is responsible for keeping the game up to date, instead of them going back into the game files, okay, looking at these cards and saying, okay, we should update these and make them relevant. What they do is they just go, we can put so many rebirths on this bad boy and send it out and say, it's fine. And that's not okay. These cards are irrelevant. They don't work. They don't do anything for anyone. So what I believe should happen to improve the quality of the game and to keep the summoning pool, right, that unfeatured SSR summoning pool a little bit leaner, a little bit more full with things that people want to pull, what we should do with these other units that are so outdated is to remove them from that pool, and either update them so that they're relevant again and not just slap another Awakening or an Extreme Z Awakening on them, because that's not how you fix things. Go back and edit it. Change its leader skill, change its passive, update its links. Like, just do it. You can upgrade categories and stuff like that every other Tuesday, but you can't go back and fix a few cards. Come on. So either do that, fix them, or take them out of rotation and put them in the friend point shop, so that if people really, really want them, they can just spend their friend points and get them. Now, just to kind of loop back, I do have to talk about Bleach Brave Souls again for a minute. You do get friend points in Bleach Brave Souls, but what you can do with those is pretty crazy in comparison. You can either use them to buy experience boosters, right? And we know from talking in previous episodes of this series that raising a character to max level gets you summoning materials. We know that, we've talked about it. It's absolute insanity, okay? So you can just use this free-to-play currency to increase the rate at which you gain summoning materials, is what friend points translate to in Bleach Brave Souls at its very, very basic. The other thing that they can do is that there's like the friend point shop where you can play up to a certain number of times equal to the current number of friend points you have divided by 250. So if you have 1,000, you can play 4 times. And what that does is it drops you a bunch of randomized items. And the equivalent, right, are things like potential orbs.
NANI?
What? like small, medium, large potential orbs. That's what gets dropped when you use these. Or, you know, other ascension items. Like awakening items. Like, that's what your friend points gets you in another gacha game. And it's like I've said so many times throughout this series, that if Bandai just paid attention to its competition, and not just Dragon Ball Legends, okay? Dragon Ball Legends is its own thing, its own game. I don't really play it because I have to really focus on it when I play it, and that's not what I'm playing games on my phone for. If I want to focus on a video game, I'm just gonna play on my PlayStation 4 or on my PC. Regardless, if Bandai and Akatsuki really paid attention to their competition, like Bleach Brave Souls, like the other game that they own, Naruto Blazing, like they do some things better than Dokkan Battle does. Instead of just being like, well, it's Dragon Ball Z has a gargantuan following, we can do whatever we want, and everybody will be fine with it eventually. That's not okay. Something that we talked about in the infamous Skype group, me, Tiger, AC Gaming, Scott, and a few other people. One of the things that we talk about is the fact that Dokkan Battle has made over $1 billion in revenue, as been reported so far. And the core gameplay is just tapping bubbles. And that's it. Like, you get to watch some really awesome animations. Don't get me wrong, guys. I do enjoy playing the game, mostly for the super attack animations. But if that's all that you're doing in the game is pressing a button to see something happen, can you really call it a game at that point? I think that even like Puzzle Fighter has more in-depth gameplay than Dokkan Battle does, because there's at least some strategy involved. The only strategy that's really involved in Dokkan Battle are things like rotations and team building, but once you've got that figured out, you've hit the learning curve and there's nothing else to learn. I think that that's something that might need to change too, and that's another example of kind of like the lazy fix, is that, you know, this company has $1 billion in revenue, and the gameplay hasn't been updated since the game came out. It's just something to think about. And I know that this video isn't like necessarily like the most feedback fueled, like this is how you can fix it kind of a video. It is what it is. And this is just something that I think that the community feels. I think that it's not something that a lot of people really talk about, because a lot of people want to talk about like, oh, look at this awesome pull, look at this, look at this, look at this. All the stuff that is awesome that happens in the game, for the most part, except for like hitting crazy damage numbers with units that you wouldn't expect it from, like, it all costs money. Or it all costs a whole lot of time to grind out those stones. And there are no other ways to get stones in-game once you have completed all of the missions. It's just not happening. So, if you want to check out part 1, where I talk about how we could potentially get more Dragon Stones, if Bandai were to ever implement some of the things that its competition implements. I'll leave a link to that in the description. One last thing that I do want to talk about is that thanks to my bro Super Animation and Teespring, I have been able to put together and bring you guys some merchandise. But if you want to check out my merch, you can go ahead and click the link in the description as well. One of the things that I will show like on the screen over here is pretty much what we've got up for sale right now. We've got t-shirts, we've got premium hoodies, iPhone phone cases, and we've got some tank tops. So if you're looking to, you know, get fit, get into shape, get your Vegeta body on, I know I'm trying to do that still, you can go ahead and grab some of those tank tops. They're gonna work great for working out. And what I did, just to let you guys know, was I selected the premium option, so these things are gonna be comfortable. And I also dropped the price as low as I could to still make a profit if people decided to buy them. So if you wanna represent #DProfNation, that's on every single piece of that apparel, right there, right over the heart. So stay awesome, guys, be great, thanks for stopping by.